All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Project
Hello.
Eggroll podcast. All right. Today is, oh man, September 10th. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. How are you, Grae?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
All right. That's good to hear, man. No echo on my end, right? You don't hear any echoes. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Cool. So, hope everyone's having a good day so far, man. Tons of news. Tons of did you get to watch what's it called again? The Rings of Power.
Yep. I have the notes ready. I have a lot to say too.
All
It's
right.
actually pretty funny.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Without further ado, my name is Phil, and we have Gray, and we go live every Saturday, 9 Pacific Standard Time. So hopefully you guys like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys will know whenever we go live. And today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of The Rings of Power and episode 3 of House of the
House of the
Dragon.
Dragon.
And all right, Gray, take it away. What are your thoughts on what happened so far?
Okay. It's basically it follows up where the second episode left. Right. After. So
Mhm.
Arondir gets abducted by the orcs and he's forced to work as a slave, along with other elves. Apparently, they've been doing this for quite a while. Then
Mhm.
Galadriel and Halbrand are rescued by troops from, we find out to be, of Numenor. So they're taken to Numenor. It actually looks very nice as per usual.
Mhm.
The budget is there. You know that it's very good. Looks gorgeous. Then right away, Galadriel, being the obnoxious character that she is, when she gets to the Queen and to the Chancellor, give me ships. I need to go to Middle Earth because there's a threat, and already they already have a shaky relationship to begin with, given the events of the past. And here
Mhm.
comes Galadriel. Yeah, give me your ships and give me troops. We need to go there right now. Okay, actually, really funny. I don't know if that's really her character back then, back in the books, but it's so tone deaf. She couldn't be more tone deaf than she already is. Then yeah, Halbrand had to step in, had to be more of the diplomat compared to her. Like, okay, like give us some time to settle down and everything.
Mhm.
Then right after that, Halbrand takes back Galadriel's sword. I think the captain was holding it. Elendil was holding it,
Yeah.
who is revealed to be actually Isildur's dad. Yeah. I mentioned last time that Isildur was a kid, but for some reason he's actually he's already a grown up. Maybe there's something in the past when I googled it, because when I googled it last time, it's a picture of a kid. Maybe there's a flashback like when he was a kid.
Mhm.
So we find out Elendil, the captain of Numenor, is Isildur's dad, and Isildur's working as a sailor, a sailorman.
Mhm.
We also have some conflict there with between the dad, because between Elendil and him, because I think Elendil wants to be with. I could be wrong on this. I wasn't sure. He wants to go with Galadriel. Did he want to go with Galadriel? What was the con? What was this conflict with his dad? I know Elendil wanted him to continue doing what he's doing, like continue to work in the as a sailor. But I don't know
Mhm.
what is. I wasn't sure what Isildur wanted, along with his sister.
Yeah. So from what I know, I do know that Elendil actually reveres like the high elves as like that they're considered like very prestigious. They're very like well known. They're sort of like a lot bigger than how humans perceive things, because like since elves are immortal, they consider them sort of like above human. So like and plus him being from who he is from Numenor, and his race. I think it's they call it like the Dunedins, which they're considered the men of the law, like the people that live a long life. Like I forgot what Eowyn actually said, that specific term, what it was. But so the reason why Isildur, like even though he's probably like 12 or like 14 or whatever, like he ages very slowly. I believe the Dunedins, the people from Numenor, they live anywhere from like 125 to like 200 years old. So they
Oh,
live,
okay.
yeah, their lives are very like they live a long time, because I actually most recently rewatched all three, the original trilogy
The
extended
trilogy.
version. Yeah, I watched the
Oh,
extended
okay.
version, and like I remember Eowyn So this is in the Two Towers, and I believe this is an extended scene where he was like, oh, I actually rode with your father, when he was 20, and then he's like, well, that makes you like 60. He's like, I'm 80 years old, and he's like,
Oh, okay. So
and
AO is
so
already 80 by Two
yeah,
Towers.
yeah, in Two Towers he's
Oh, okay.
80. So yeah, Aragorn
Oh,
is
okay.
80. So we do know that Isildur and Elendil is a part of that, like sort of that's their race, right? They're men, but they're the men that lives a long time. So
Okay,
but
okay.
but yeah, that's just to answer your question.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. All right. Then yeah, I think there'll probably be more fleshed out in the next episode with regards to his relationship with Elendil.
Hmm.
Uh, so the next thing that happened. Okay, so they mentioned that Morgoth has a apparent successor, so plans are in place.
Hmm.
Uh, which name is Adar. So I think this is a new. I'm assuming it's a new character in Rings of Power.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's like the orcs, like I don't know, they look like albino orcs, so like yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they're like
yeah.
afraid of the sun and stuff. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, let's take him to Adar, right? So but
Yeah, they're weak. They're weak against the sun.
yeah, 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 they start like burning.
When was what his name again? Aaron Deer cuts down the shade. They get when they get struck by the sun. You find out that they actually get hit by they're vampires. Apparently,
Yeah, they're like,
they're
it burns us, Habitses. It burns us.
I'm not sure if that was the case of the first game, but I don't first sorry the trilogy. I don't think so. But anyway, yeah. So the next thing that happens is I kind of weird. Like they don't want to cut down the tree. The elf slaves didn't want to cut down the tree that's standing in their way because like the orcs are saying, cut down the
Yeah,
tree.
it's like, no, let's go around it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know that the elves revere trees as like I think like they're gods or they highly respect the trees, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure they also use trees to their own ends, like building their own homes and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of strange that they took an issue until they started. The orcs had to force them to. Okay, if you don't do it, we're gonna kill you. Okay, then okay, fine. We'll cut. I'll cut the tree. I'll cut the tree. Which
Yeah.
is I don't know. It's kind of strange given the circumstance, but yeah, I it didn't stick the landing for me. If there was something that's supposed to, I think the point is like trees are supposed to be sacred and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
here, but not all trees are treated equal. I'm assuming
Hmm.
because some are being used for to build stuff, while others deserve to not be cut down. I suppose.
Hmm.
Then after that, Galadriel meets. Okay, Galadriel's looking for ways to get out of Numenor, but
Yeah.
then Elendil steps in. Oh, you can try doing this, but doing that. But I'm gonna stop you at the end of the day. Then
Hmm.
Galadriel, being the obnoxious character that she is, she even threatens to kill him for some reason. What if I slit your throat first? Something like that. But then, kind of strange. Oh, then okay, we're approaching our favorite part. So Elendil mentions the whole they have a hall of lore. I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of the archi there are kind of like the archives. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's like historians, and like that's where they store all of like important stuff, sort of like in what's it called again, in Old Town, where you become a maester, right? Like I believe there's like a library, there's like a huge library full of lore and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah, okay. This is the part I found extreme. Okay, I'm sending you a picture on Discord. This
all right.
actually I laughed kind of hard when I saw it. I
Let me actually bring this up. Let me go ahead and
yeah.
bring this up really quick. But
It's so out of place and so weird.
oh man, it was like slow motion, right? Like
Yeah,
she was like riding slow motion. It was very like close up to her face, and I'm just like, this is like, well, first of all, this is like a waste of 1 minute. It's just like
yeah,
her like
exactly.
really happy. I'm free.
I
Master Cave Dobby a sock. Dobby is free.
the one time her face actually shows emotion.
Yeah.
It's the most useless scenes ever.
Yeah, it's like maybe this is the first time riding a horse in the actual show, right? Like the actual like actors, like oh my god, I love horses so much.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
well, the thing is that she has more emotion already just from this one scene than Arendir, right?
yeah. It's but if you're gonna show emotion, right? Why is it gonna be have to be such a I don't know, such a redundant scene? Like, even
Yeah,
before the scene, right? She was like saying, "We get to ride a horse," which is like something so foreign for her for some reason, given
yeah.
her experience. I don't know. It feels like it should have been omitted entirely because it's so weird.
Yeah, it's like for me, I thought the scene was well. There's a bunch of things that I thought about Galadriel, like but this scene in particular, I'm like, okay, what's the point, right? Is she like free because she was captured, right? She was considered like an honored guest, but you're not allowed to leave the grounds, right? So they sneak her out on a horse to go to the what's it called again? This Tower of Lore, and I don't know. This scene is like a wasted. It's like a wasted scene for her.
Yeah,
I think that it's
true.
very. It's very weird too. Like it's like oh I'm on horseback. It's sort of like watching a bunch of the old like the original trilogy stuff, and me and my wife are also rewatching the Hobbit trilogy,
Oh,
and
okay.
seeing it like they do like establishing shots, right? They're on horseback, and then they're like and there's like epic music playing or something like that, and then they're riding along the fields of Mordor or something like that, going towards like Mount Doom, and then you see like the establishing shot of like the Eye of Sauron with Mount Doom. But this one is just like, okay, you have the establishing shot of them riding on horseback to the Tower of Lore, and then there's a very up close, uncomfortably close to her face, and she's just like,
Yeah. There's even a zoomed in version. They really zoomed into the face. It's like I was laughing so hard when I saw it. Like
yeah,
what is this? Okay, then suddenly they transitioned the scene back to the Hall of Lore.
yeah.
I don't know. It's complete. Yeah, like you said, it's completely unnecessary, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It caught me off guard actually. The-
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in this episode that what's it called again makes me just think about wow, like okay, I credit where credit is due. The show looks beautiful, right? You could
yes.
tell they spent all of their budget on like visuals, making sure like the buildings look good, the visual effects looks good, the background and scenery they all look great, right? But
Yes.
you can only polish a turd so much,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Ultimately, like it's all fluff and no substance.
Yeah.
You have a show that's beautiful, it looks great, but the thing is that like you have a one-dimensional Galadriel, just like I want to speak to your manager. She's like a Karen. She's like, I
Yeah.
want to speak to your manager. I want to go back to I want to go to what's it called again? Oh God, I like God, where did we want to go again? Shit, Middle Earth. Yeah, we want to go back to Middle Earth,
Middle Earth.
and she's just like, I want to speak to your manager right now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then
Exactly.
I
That's what it
I
comes
I
off.
I think the Queen Muriel, is that her name? I think like
Uh
Queen Muriel or something like that. Um,
I think so.
yeah,
I'm not sure either.
I think she holds presence, which is great. Like she actually commands she commands the scene. But I don't know. It's just like her thing was I want I want to go back to Middle Earth. I want my dagger. He stole the dagger from me, and I want it back. He wants it, and then it's I did not like her. Like I don't like how they written her. Like the direction of how like show that you think that you're better than everyone. Like sort of like the direction of acting is like pretend that you are better than everyone here. Pretend that you are the richest person in this room, and everyone should bow down to you. And she's like, all right, got it, right? And then like it's just like she's not likable. I do not like how they made her character. It's no fault to the actors
Yeah.
or what or how they sort of like just come off as their character. It's the writing and the direction they're given, and she's just so not likable. Like okay, going back to episode 2, I I think that going into watching the Rings of Power, I was gonna hate Disa, Queen Disa. I was gonna hate her.
Oh.
I'm like,
Okay.
she's gonna be stupid. She's gonna be boring. And to be honest, surprisingly, she's not the worst part of the show. She's like Disa is super like charismatic, like super like
Yeah.
when what's it called again? Durin and Elrond was in the same room.
Elrond.
It's like okay,
Mhm.
and then when Disa shows up, she's like, hey, like she has a lot of like she's a good actor. Like
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
that's great. Like
She
you
is.
completely proved me wrong. And but the thing is with Galadriel, I'm like, okay, I like Disa. Prove me wrong, right? Like I going in not liking her, I like her. Galadriel, you have yet to try to persuade me to like this character. I think that
Mhm.
she's so badly written,
Yeah.
and just based off of like how Galadriel is in the Peter Jackson trilogy versus how she is here, it seems like they're completely different characters. It's just like okay,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
person is like like when I see Galadriel, she's more like a high elf who's like an enchantress or like some kind of priestess that like she knows how to fight, but maybe she used like cast spells or she used magic or something like that. I've never seen her as a warrior because in the Hobbit me and my wife have not rewatched it yet, but we're going to be probably rewatching it sooner than later. But we were rewatching we watched Battle of the Five Armies, the Hobbit, the last Hobbit movie, and I
Oh
remember
yeah.
Saruman and Galadriel comes, and I'm not sure if Elrond shows up too, but I remember they come and they fight, and I'm like, I don't see Galadriel holding a sword and with full elven armor and like fucking kicking ass. I don't see that. She was like basically like casting spells and shit. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this character does not resemble Galadriel in the Rings of Power at all. So
Yep.
how do you feel? Am I completely wrong here? Like because I don't want to like if I am like please let me know because I don't want to feel like
Yeah. Yeah.
an
That's
asshole, right?
actually that's I brought that up. I think either in our first podcast or in the no, I think it's the last one. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was playing I play a real time strategy game, Battle for Middle Earth. I wanted to show the picture, which I didn't. It's Galadriel's actually more if it's actually she's actually more of the magic type. Not, she never held a sword either in that game.
Yeah.
So it's the Hobbit is accurate. It's more accurate in the two trilogies compared to this one, because this one completely deviates from the character. And you
Mhm.
mentioned earlier Disa. Actually, I watched another talk about it on YouTube. Actually, they kind of did her a bit dirty. Not as bad as Galadriel in that scene, because apparently in dwarven culture in the books, it's as dwarves, you always show your best foot forward when it comes to outsiders. You always position yourself. You always show yourself in a position of strength.
Mhm.
Like you absolutely do not show any form of weakness whatsoever to the other races. Like, so they did Disa dirty by making her showing the scene in front of Elrond fighting in front of Durin.
Mhm.
According to the reviewer, to the ones talking, it's like you never do that, not in front of an outsider, because that shows vulnerability.
Mhm.
So yeah, so in a way that yeah, although Disa is good, yeah, I agree too that, but apparently if you dig deeper into the books, like they also did her kind of there, because the dwarves are not supposed to ever show any kind of weakness to outsiders. You always
I
position
see.
yourself like, yeah, we are perfect, we are invulnerable, we are strong. That's how you're
Mhm.
supposed to do it. But anyway, yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to add on what you just
Okay,
said
that
earlier.
makes sense. Yeah, we got a
Yeah.
comment saying that Galadriel, I'm better and having a bigger purpose than all y'all peasants. Yeah,
True, true.
I definitely feel that. And what was it called again? Yeah, and I believe yeah, you're absolutely correct. Like just going back and watching The Hobbit, like the dwarves is Hobbits revolved around like what's it called again? King Thorin, right? And him and dirt like 12 of his other like dwarves are like they're very proud race. They're like like we are dwarves and like we don't have any weaknesses, and even though we're small and stuff like that, it's and showing Disa is so showing that you're your weak side. You're like, oh, don't do that, don't do this and stuff like that. Like I definitely understand. Like it's like, yeah, it that's not how like dwarves are in the book, or probably like in the movies. And like what's it called again? Like I remember Peter Jackson, like he was being interviewed. It's like, oh, he was being asked like, wait, what do you want to do? He said that I do not, I just want to make a movie that represents the books. You know, like he said, he basically says that he doesn't want to like, you know, sort of divert from what the original you know, source material was from Tolkien. And seeing that, like, even though Diesel was played very well by the actor, I don't know her name, it's not how it was supposed to be. And I think that's why a lot of people there, you know, there's backlash and stuff like that. And this new episode, like, for me, I'm not sure about you, but in my rewatching, what's it called again, The Lord of the Rings, and looking at Isildur, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, he looks like he's like in some kind of like in terms of his skin, you know, like he looks like he's more of like, you know, he's from Europe and stuff like that. But the Isildur that I'm looking at in the show, like maybe he's like the out of everyone, like he was the best for the part in terms of how he acted, like when he's auditioning. But in terms of skin color, it's completely off. Like this one looked like he's like, I don't know, like Egyptian, like maybe a dark Italian or Hispanic. Isildur is like white. He's like white. So I'm not sure what it is. Maybe his skin will become lighter. Maybe because he's not getting. Maybe he's very tan because he's always outside, right? Like, but it's just like it does not remind me. Like for me, like, okay, yeah, you have Isildur, you know, Elendil, and then you have what's it called again? You have Galadriel and like Elrond and stuff like that. You have all these people because Elendil, and I forgot who was the original elf, that's sort of the elf king from Galadriel. I forgot his name, but he is supposed to lead the war against Sauron in sort of the epilogue of how Sauron was taken down in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. It was I believe it was Isildur, Elendil, that one elf, and what's it called again, Elrond. And for me, I'm just like Tolkien wrote this to be like a mythology or a fantasy based off of like, you know, like just Europe, like European like mythology. And for me, it's just like, it's all, I think this is all over the place. I feel like this is like a very expensive fan fiction.
Yeah, agreed.
But
if you're gonna pick up the source material, in my opinion, you gotta at least respect it, at least to a certain degree. If you're gonna take some liberties, you make sure it still respects the source material. I don't know why there's so TV series like they like to do their own takes, even though it's they're dismissing what made them good to begin with, kind of like Halo. I think Halo's also just as bad, given what they did to Master Chief. But anyway, yeah. What else happened here?
I think what's it called? More Harfoot stuff, right? Like
yeah, Harfoot. So what happened? So okay, so oh yeah, speaking of Harfoots, okay, good thing I wrote this down. Is it really the Harfoot's culture to? So if you can't catch up with them, you really get left behind to die.
So according to what I know, for people who are like, who do like crazy migrations in like some kind of caravan, like what's it called again? In the United States, we have this thing called like the Oregon Trail, and like people will like use caravans and stuff like that, and like, or even in California, we have these missions, right? These missions, like these Catholic missions, where like they would go from like mission to mission, and they would like go in a caravan to sort of like spread the word of Jesus, and just like the religion and stuff like that. And they don't leave anyone behind. They're like,
yeah.
So when they say yeah, if you get left behind, you're done. You know, you're in the back of the pack and stuff like that. Like it's not historically correct. Like if you're trying to use this as, oh, this is how caravans were and stuff like that, no, they're not. It's they always they don't leave anyone behind.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so just because he got one of their own got a broken foot, then okay, good luck catching up. We're just gonna leave you. It's like, I find that
it sucks for you.
Yeah, it's like, what? Seriously? So what if that happened to you? We'll leave you behind then. It's like,
yeah,
okay. It's kind of it feels like they're just trying to artificially build suspense.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. because yeah, we know that eventually, yeah, Nori continues to help the mysterious Gandalf to bear try to gain back his memory.
Mhm.
Then this time it's he gets discovered by the entire Harfoot community because he
Mhm.
accidentally sets the map on fire.
Yeah,
Then
like the constellations of stars or something like that.
yeah, then yeah, he tumbles and he gets discovered. Then kind of strange, but okay. After that, yeah, so he finds out that Nori's family's gonna get left behind apparently because yeah, he caused a ruckus. Instead of staying in the front of the caravan, they're gonna be at the very back, so
Mhm.
they will not be able to catch up with the rest of them. So what the in the end, well, I suppose it's the typical ending that they do a deal like Gandalf supposedly Gandalf helps them carry their things.
Mhm.
Then at the same time, Nori tries to restore his memory. So that's pretty much okay. So it's like it's just a continuation,
Mhm.
nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So I mentioned earlier Elendil and Isildur having issues. I think it's more of a career thing. Like what Isildur wants is not in line with what Elendil wants for him. That's
Mhm.
pretty much all I see about it. Then
Yeah.
yeah, then oh okay, so oh yeah, Halbrand was mingling with the peasants in the tavern.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like the peasants were like, yeah, you went with Galadriel, the elf. You don't belong here. Here you are taking our food and stuff like that, and you're not even grateful. Then Halbrand seemingly being a nice guy. You're right. All drinks on
Mhm.
me, but he actually tried to steal from one of them.
Yeah, because
Then
I he wanted to be a like a blacksmith, right? Like he's like, oh, you got to get you got to get a little token thing
oh
in order
right,
for you to
right,
become a blacksmith.
yeah,
So that was his motivation to like, I want to
yeah, to
steal
take
it
it.
now, right? So we're just completely, I I don't know. I thought that was sort of weird, but the thing is, then he sort of like beat all of them up.
Yeah,
It was pretty funny.
yeah. That's how he gets incarcerated. Then then Galadriel pays him a visit. He's actually, I don't know if it's symbolic or actuality. He's the
Mhm.
king of the Southlands.
Oh,
What did Galadriel tell?
yeah, according to his like sigil, like his little necklace, um she like this is after she came back from the Tower of Lore, and she was like, oh, this is what I found out, yeah, yeah, basically saying that you are supposed to be the king of the Southlands or something like that. So it's, we have to go back, and we know that the Southlands is taken over by the white orcs, right? The albino orcs. So like it's somehow tied together, like what, maybe he somehow fled being like in like a, being quote unquote slave or whatever, like working is, but the thing is that all of the people that are working are all elves. So I don't, but they are wearing the same like outfit, that they're wearing the same like garb,
Yeah, yeah,
like a prison outfit. So it I think he is, but the thing is that like I know that a lot of from what I've heard, and a lot of people said that like if Halbrand, he's looking like he's supposed to be Sauron, but like because I know like Sauron is supposed to be like he's I think he's a Meyer, and Meyer, I believe, is the same race as, like, Sauron's actual race is the same race as Gandalf.
oh
So
okay,
yeah, they are immortal, and if they die, like if their body dies, it's up to, I forgot who it was, but like sort of like the god of like Valinor to like sort of either put you back into another body or you die. So that's the reason why, um for what's it called again, when Gandalf like sort of like he quote unquote died, right? Because he fought the Balrog and died. And then when his spirit sort of goes back to Valinor, I forgot who it was. Like there's a name for that, for that being. It's like, oh, since you died, say like trying to protect Middle Earth, we're sending you back to Middle Earth. And their race is a Mire, because I actually like what race is like Sauron is a Mire. So but I know Myers are like they're wizards, right? They're like they know that's why like I would consider like Sauron more like a dark wizard, and one of his abilities was shapeshift. But for me, if this is supposed to, if Halbrand is supposed to be Sauron, this is a misdirection for me. Like, is this you're trying to misdirect me, or this is actually someone else's? Because if Sauron was not seen, like Sauron would use his powers to like sort of like trick people and stuff like that, and he'll do even bigger damage to like a lot of the things that he fought. So as of right now, I'm not sure if this is Sauron anymore. Is because of what happened with him. He actually got beat up and stuff like that. And like if Sauron is so cunning as he is, he would not be taken so likely. But unless he needs to really, really sort of like he needs to like blend, like quote unquote blend in to the crowd, then like I can see why. But like as of right now, like if people are saying this is Sauron, like I'm like, well, the show is showing different. How Halbrand is a wizard? No, yeah, like according to what I heard, like he's supposed to be, if Halbrand is supposed to be Sauron, then Sauron is equal wizard. So in transitive property, Halbrand is a wizard. But I don't know. I think his arc was okay so far. Like I'm definitely interested to see what happens to him. Why is he here? Like what happened?
He's the more interesting character compared to Galadriel.
I think that it's just like Galadriel is such a like I mentioned earlier, he's such a one-dimensional character, which he just like I just want to avenge my brother. I want to take down Sauron. I don't have any other character developments and stuff like that. But maybe with the introduction of like Elendil and like maybe other characters or something like that, she can hopefully maybe we can grow to like her character. But it's been 3 hours, right? Right. It's been 3 hours, and the thing is, I still do not like Galadriel. Right.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I think she's so boring. I don't like. I just don't like her. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I think the actress does a good job of playing, a Karen that's like too good for you, and she has a good voice and stuff like that. Like, but I just don't buy it. I don't. I think she's the villain of the show.
Yeah, it's hard to blame her too, because she at the end of the day she has to follow the script. That's all there is to it. I mean, she has no say in that. It's just that her demeanor, her facial expression, it's really on point with the character they wrote her to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not interesting because she's so. Yeah, I mentioned to you earlier that I finished Horizon Forbidden West. So I was longing to watch a video review by one of the YouTube followers I aspire to. So the title of his video is Horizon Forbidden West is lame. It's not that it's a bad game. It's just that it's a follow up to the first game, Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with this game is it's definitely just a bigger game. Like it carries all the good stuff of Zero Dawn, but at the same time, all its faults are also carried. So that's what he's criticizing about. It's like I was hoping that in the sequel they fix several things. Like one of them is the main character, Aloy, which is the girl you see in the front page, the front cover.
Yeah.
She's also a bit of a one-sided character. Like they frame her in such a way that like she doesn't need anybody. She's strong and independent, but not in a woke way. But like she's incredibly strong, incredibly she finds her way around. She overcomes any obstacle. Like you see her waver a little bit sometimes throughout the game in the first and second, but it immediately like 30 seconds after she gets back on her feet and goes guns blazing again. So the point of that reviewer was like, yes, it's fine to have that kind of character, but at the end of the day, it's not interesting. It's not interesting at all because it's like it's so one-sided. It's like it's not human. So I think that criticism is actually can be applied here with Galadriel. Yes, Galadriel is like sure, she's arrogant and strong. Like she faces her problems head on, but it's not an interesting character. It doesn't show if you don't show any signs of vulnerability and
Mhm.
triumphing over it. That would make Galadriel, I feel, a far more interesting character.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Like, I just think that they are trying to make her like capable of being like the best. Like and the thing is that having her be a both a what's it called, like a you know a priestess that delves in magic, but like having her here to be a warrior is just such a it's it's I don't know. It's such a detachment from what we've known, right? It's because we've seen Galadriel in 6 movies, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not how we come to know her, and it just sucks. But we do have a question that does the story of Nori and possibly Gandalf interest you guys? You want to answer that? And I'll answer
Uh,
afterwards.
all right, sure. Yeah. For me, it's okay, but I can't help but compare her and what's the Poppy? Yeah, Poppy. I can't
Hmm.
help but compare Nori and Poppy to Frodo and Sam. But Frodo and Sam are just way better. So it's like
Hmm.
they're. I mean, yes, they're fine. They're not terrible. It's like they're not as bad as Galadriel in my opinion. It's like at least they have some life into them. Like Nori
Hmm.
and Poppy is like, Poppy, stop doing this. Stop trying to save this person. Who is this person? Then Nori's like, we have to help people. We don't just fight for ourselves. I think that's
Hmm.
the most interesting dynamic of that part. But other than that, then I think I'm okay with it. Just it's I average, I suppose. It's not
Yeah.
terrible, but at the same time, I'm not really I'm not excited what happens next.
Yeah, but I for one think this is 100% Gandalf, right? And it's because of this scene right here. Let me actually bring let me actually bring this up right here. Is because of this scene. So I'm gonna do two comparisons really quick. All right. So
Okay,
this is the
sure.
first one right here.
Hello?
Wow. I think I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, bro. We have this scene right here, right?
Mhm.
Right, and then we have this scene right here. And let me bring that up. We have this scene right here, right? This one.
Not by you.
Business isn't of yours what I do with my own
I
things.
think you've had that ring quite long enough.
You want it for yourself.
Bilbo Baggins! Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks. I am not trying to rob you. Trying to help you.
Right, so like it's literally like comparing like side by side. This is like, okay,
Yeah.
that is Gandalf for sure, right? And we already know. I believe back in like 2000, I think 2018, 2000, or maybe even 2019, they mentioned that like, yeah, we're gonna have a, what's it called again, Gandalf in the Rings of Power. And I believe even they might even have Legolas. I'm not sure, because according to what I know, a Legolas is a little bit older than Elrond.
Oh,
So
he is. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so yeah, I believe he's a couple hundred years older than Elrond. So that means in Thranduil, which is the hot man that is Lee Pace that plays Legolas's father, he should also be alive, because Thranduil is I think Sylvian. I forgot what the actual elf race is, but he's in high elf. He's a high elf that left the high elf life. He's like, screw the shit. I don't fucking want to listen to the high elf stuff. So he left like being a high elf, and he
Yeah.
sort of lived in the woods.
Yeah,
And
Transwell is in The Hobbit, right? I
yeah,
kind of remember he's in The Hobbit.
yeah,
Okay.
he's the guy with the like the super deep voice that's like,
Yeah.
when you saw Legolas, it's like, damn, Legolas is super good looking. And then when you see Thranduil, you're like, damn, he's even better looking. But but all that put aside, what's it called again? This is definitely for sure 100% like has to be Gandalf. And we like there like Gandalf has this ability to be able to talk to bugs, right? Like talk to like for instance when I remember watching, he's like when he was he got caught by Sauron and he's up on the tower and he was like what's it called again? He grabs the moth and he whispers to it, right? And then like flies away and then like an hour later like the fucking eagle comes picks him up. And I think that he's talking the same like in the same language. It's like when he's talking to the fireflies, he's like right? He's talking
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're this person we know is going to be Gandalf. It's just if and when this character is actually going to be revealed as this person is actually Gandalf now, right? But yeah, I okay, so I would say out of all like the sort of storylines between like the characters, I don't really care too much about Galadriel's character. Queen Disa and Durin, I don't really care too much. I the only like bringing back Elendil, like seeing Elendil, and then Isildur is also here. Like I guess that's pretty interesting because we know that Isildur cuts off Sauron's hand, but out of all the characters, like I do have to agree with my wife. Like she did say, like she like even though like you got like female Frodo and female Sam, you have them like their story is interesting, but like I want to see what happens with what's it called again, the development of Frodo, right?
Yeah, I think I share generally the same sentiments because Galadriel not interesting, even though she's supposed to be the spotlight of the series.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm actually more interested with Halbrand, ironically, the supposedly Sauron. Wait, yeah. Oh, speaking of, would you know why people think Halbrand is Sauron? I have because I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
So I follow Nerdrotic, right? So Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic, who's also part of the Geeks and Gamers crew, he's like, like I mentioned, he's a pretty big Game of Thrones fan. He said that the reason why they think he's Sauron, but he think he might be like amnesia. He might have like amnesia.
Amnesia. Oh,
yeah, like he doesn't like maybe like something happened to him where he does not remember who he is, but he just knows that he's from the Southlands and stuff like that. And like there was an instance where they're like, why was all of a sudden like Halbrand was able to survive? Like he's the only one who survived on the raft while that Kraken looking monster thing was in the water. And why was maybe he was destined to find what's it called again, Galadriel? I'm not sure, but like that was the reason. Their reason was like they don't want to explain too much because it's considered a big spoiler. Like why but he according to what he said, he's like that is supposed Halbrand is supposed to be what's it called again, Sauron. But I have a feeling that this just is me big braining, just speculating and stuff like that. This is what I'm thinking. Halbrand, Galadriel, Elendil probably go to they probably like, all right, let's get your ass out of get your ass to Moz, right? To get your ass to Middle Earth. And I think Halbrand and Galadriel, I think Halbrand actually humanizes Galadriel. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
maybe in episode 4 she might become more likable. And I think
hopefully
they're gonna fall in love. But the thing is that but according to I'm not sure if this is the first age or the second age, because I know this is about 3,000 years before the events of the Hobbit. So this might be the first age. Or maybe a second. I'm not 100% sure. But according to the timeline, Galadriel is supposed to be married to Celeborn. She's supposed to be married already. So I wonder when they're going to bring him in.
Wait, I got confused for a moment. I thought you were referring to the elf, the Celebrimbor. No, we haven't even mentioned it.
Yeah, so yeah, we mentioned him, but so he's like the famous the famous blacksmith or something like that, right?
Yeah. We didn't mention it. We met in the episode 2. It's kind of strange. Like Elrond brings them all the way to the Dwarven Kingdom, but like, nope, never mind. Go back home.
All right, go back home. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Maybe he has fast travel or something.
Yeah,
who knows? But so I don't want to spoil too much because I do know a little bit more about the lore. like I know that this is before the rings of powers are forged, right? 9 were gifted to the elves. I mean, 3 were gifted to the elves, 6 were given to the dwarves, and 9 given to the human because they, they don't they love, they love greed or some shit like that, right? So I know that the One Ring, so basically Sauron developed the One Ring to control all the other rings, right? So the 3 high elves, who do we got? We have Galadriel, we have the other dude, that's basically like the one that like sort of gave the crown to Galadriel. I forgot his name. And we have, I don't think it's Elrond, maybe someone else, right? And then you have the 6 dwarves and then the 9 men, and then the 9 men becomes the ring wraiths, like that's for sure. We know. So this is definitely maybe that hammer that looks like a penis. I think that's Celebrimdon. Well, how do you pronounce it?
Brimbor. I know. I think it's Celebrimbor.
So Celebrimbor. So I know that I think he somehow gets influenced by Sauron, which we still don't know who Sauron is, to make those rings. And then okay. Sauron makes his own ring to rule the other rings. So you have the 3 races that you rule, right? You have the high elves, you have the dwarven kings, the 6 dwarven kings, and then you rule the 9 kings of men. So that was his goal. So this is way before that, and like I want to see more of that. Like, yeah, it's cool, you have like these characters that are like, I just hope that Galadriel gets fleshed out, but it's been 3 episodes already, and I still don't give a shit about her. So I hope she gets better. She's, what's it called again? I think Elendil's pretty cool. We have
I think Rings of Power only has 8 actually. I think it has 8 episodes only per season compared to House of the Dragon that has 10. Or did I flip them up? Yeah, as far as I know, I found out earlier this week. I think it's one is less than the other. I think Rings of Power is only 8 episodes because I heard I watched Gary from the Drotics podcast. Like, we're approaching halfway already with this TV series, and it's pertaining to Rings of Power. So I think Rings of Power only has 8 episodes. So we're already approaching halfway, and we still haven't seen much development, if any, for Galadriel, which is kind of
Oof. Man, that's not good. We know that's not good, and it's it's like for me, there's a lot of things, right? And I'm actually gonna bring up I'm gonna bring up this article really quick, and it's from the conversation, and I believe this is from Australia. I believe this journalist is from Australia, and I'll go ahead and quickly read through this, right? So I believe this was written how long ago? This was written 3 days ago. So since Amazon announced actors of color amongst the cast, it is the new series that Rings of Power in February this year. Criticisms of their inclusions have gained media attention. So here's the thing. I actually don't really care. Like, okay, yes, in Tolkien lore, there isn't a lot of darker skinned folks, right? There's not a lot of black people. There's not a lot of like Hispanics or Asians or anything like that, because this folklore tale that Tolkien wrote, it's based off of Europe. So like the fact that you have these characters in there, fine, sure. I make them interesting, make me like them, right? Make me actually enjoy these characters, and like Disa was actually a really good breath of fresh air for her, and but you have Aaron, like he has the same face that Kristen Stewart has in all her movies, literally the same face, like every scene he's in, like he's mad, he's upset, he's thinking, he's sad, like he's happy, like he always looks the same. Like maybe but it's not his fault. It's the direction that's given. So I hope that gets better. But let me continue. The coverage typically positions the criticisms of Rings of Power to backlash from true diehard fans resisting the so-called wokeness. This misrepresents the situation. There are also fans who welcome the increased diversity over what is seen in Tolkien's novels and previous adaptations. Racist abuse of actors of color and review bombing campaigns against the Rings of Power suggests that there are more going on than the fan disagreement about Tolkien's world. So then you have this we have this Lord of the Rings right here. We created
Mhm.
this hashtag. We are all welcome here, right? I'm like, oh, sure. You know, look, like we are all welcome here. And then we have another one actually from like like we are not actually complaining about like, oh yeah, there's more black people or you know, brown people or anything like that in Tolkien's, you know, canonically more white eccentric like kind of novel or movie. We're not that's not what we're complaining about. We're complaining about how these characters suck.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't care about them. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna make a new character, right? Like I'm for one I'm always on the same boat as do not bastardize or make a like or capitalize on a female Tolkien character. Oh, female Thor, female Hulk, female Captain Marvel. You know, female like female Iron Man. Like yeah, sure, you know, but we'll create new characters. Okay, they did. They created Disa and they created Arendir for to name a few, and they happen to be people of color. So okay, cool. Put those in there. That's what I want. But can you make them interesting? Right? Can you
Yeah.
make them actually
Yes.
like can you make me care about those characters? As of right now, I do not care about Arendir. Maybe Disa is pretty likable. I like that. Let me continue. As a Tolkien researcher, Craig Franson explains, far-right political actors are whipping up the controversy, weaponizing it to help get fascist talking points into mainstream. Franson shows that the right-wing outrage machine stirred up a massive hate mob through mainstream right-wing press. Oh my god! So basically, anyone who are against a show, saying that the show sucks, basically they're all white ring. They're all like Trump supporters or MAGA or they're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. You know, like just because I say that this show is not interesting and this show sucks, yeah, I'm all of a sudden like, oh, I'm a Nazi or a fascist or something like that, which is insanely disingenuous towards everyone, right?
Yeah.
So it's just pretty bad. The fans who feel that they are defending Tolkien's legacy are being used as pawns to serve dangerous anti-democratic and anti-egalitarian agenda and siding whether they mean or not with a racist extremist. So, but yeah. So basically, if we hate this show, we are anti-democratic and we are racist extremists. It's like, oh my god, yeah, sure. So this is the reason why I do not like what the mainstream media is sort of like propping up, what these like crazy like quote unquote woke companies are trying to adhere to. If you're trying to adhere to like, oh, we're trying to write stuff for more of to be more inclusive, I get you.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead and yeah. But the thing is, at the same time, do not like talk shit about your other fans, right? Like let's say if this is more for like United States, right? Like we have two party system. We have Democrats and Republicans and stuff like that. If you're gonna be like a company, you gotta cater to both sides. It's because if you're not, then you're basically losing half your money. And I feel like this is what a lot of these companies are doing, and they are letting it happen. And I feel like it's a really, really good way to lose money, right? So fascist appropriation of Tolkien's work may not seem surprising given his anti-Nazi statements, right? So we already know Tolkien is actually like he's like, you know, he already says he's given his anti-Nazi statements, which includes calling Hitler a ruddy little ignoramus. It is not new, however, in the 1970s, the books became a favorite of Italian fascists who've even held a camp of Hobbit festival to promote their politics. Okay, sure. In the early 2000s, and now former extremist Derek Black Jr. started a chat forum dedicated to the Lord of the Rings on a major white supremacist website when Peter Jackson's film came out. He told the New York Times, "I figured you could get people who liked with such a white mythos, a few turned out by a white national." So basically saying that Tolkien's work is white nationalism and how it's super racist, not racism is fascist, and a specific political ideology, but far right always has racist elements in its ideologies. And I think that's extremely disingenuous on how people are viewing criticism.
Yeah.
Man,
it's always their playbook to pull something like that. Given recent TV series, like I know they did something similar with Kenobi, with Moses Ingram. As I forgot her name. I didn't watch the series, but yeah, she's a black, formerly a Jedi, but went through. But she was eventually abducted by Vader, so she ended up being a Sith. But
Mhm.
yeah, but the whole point was like, if you do not like this character, you are a racist. They pulled the same playbook. They try to, instead of accepting criticism, I believe they turn it against their audience, their fans, who are actually the paying people.
Yeah.
At the same time, I see both sides of the spectrum. It's like there's definitely that crazy, absurd people on the internet who actually blackmail these people, these companies, like with death threats for over a TV series, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you shouldn't be attacking your audience like this with regards to your execution of the TV series, because yeah, it's deviating from the literature. It's yeah, you're already not following what's actually written or what has been established. So in my opinion, actually, honestly, there's nothing wrong with me pushing with diversity, like you said. Like, I'm okay with diversity and all that if that's really what they want to push. You don't have to. Yeah, you mentioned this a lot. You don't have to bring down a character so that you can elevate this new character that you're pushing for.
Mhm.
For me, apart from that, like, yeah, just write the new character very, very well. Integrate them well. That doesn't destroy what was previously established.
Mhm.
And I think more importantly, it's like the you I would think it will work if you don't have to be so loud about it. You shouldn't be so you shouldn't be so like, oh, we're bringing in a black person, we're bringing in an Asian person. Like, you don't. For me, it'll work well if that the messaging comes out from the audience themselves, or they're the ones who interpret it themselves without being told that that is the message. Like, you bring in this Asian guy, for example, like bring me into the show, the Filipino Chinese into the show, like uh write me in such a way that, I'm just using this as an example. Write that character in such a way that that character becomes really well loved and really well done. Then the audience themselves will say, "Oh, they wrote this character, so they are now very diverse." Don't market in such a way. Oh, we promote diversity by inserting this character. I think that will be far, far more effective than them trying to keep pushing it aggressively.
Yeah.
And that's how I see this take. But anyway, yeah, there.
Yeah.
It's always
But,
the same playbook with these companies for some reason.
Yeah.
They always try to be so hostile with their fan bases, which is kind of backfiring.
Yeah, it's saying that you better like the show, or you are like against equality. You're against inclusivity, and you're against you're against having more black people or his people of color in our movie, which is completely not true. It's like, what's it called again? Rogue One. Rogue One is a very good example of bringing in other characters and making new characters, right? And having us like fall in love with them. For instance, what's it called again? Donnie Yen's character, who's a blind monk that's able to fight.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I like Donnie Yen in general, so like I'm sort of biased towards that. But people who don't know who he is, like bringing him in, a badass person, badass blind monk that's able like to probably, if you gave him a lightsaber, would probably like be pretty freaking badass. But like having us like, damn, like he's such a good character, like I like that, like I liked John Boyega's character in Star Wars, right? Like I liked him as I liked him as Finn,
Finn, yes.
And even though like Disney Star Wars like did him dirty by like removing him from the, like shrinking him down in the China poster, or completely removing him. And it's like you're literally, you are just sort of, you're supposed to like listen to what you preach, right? If you're saying that, we want inclusivity, we want diversity, we want all these things. Then why, when you release Black Panther in China, in the US what's it called, poster is T'Challa like this without his helmet, and
Without
then
his
in
helmet.
China is T'Challa with his helmet. It's like, why
With
would
his
you do
helmet.
that? Like, it's like you're saying that we should be more inclusive and not be racist, but what you are doing is completely the opposite. It's because you know what
Yes.
talks? Money talks. And money and you know, a lot of these Disney stuff that's coming out, like it's all from China and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in China who, or you know, or in Asia in general, like, loves Lord of the Rings, right? But let's say, like, if Amazon would put like Arendir as like front and center, like in China and stuff like that, like, I'm pretty sure, like, oh, but you know that we want to make sure that the Chinese people watch our show, so we're going to completely remove him. Like, that's you are not, do you not seeing what you are espousing? Like, but it's it definitely sucks. But
Yeah.
to earlier comments, what's it called again? It's a shame. It's a shame because he's such an OP character and it could have been great. Yeah. So I'm assuming, Kat, you're talking about Galadriel,
Galadriel.
and yeah, and there were death threats. Yeah, there's usually. I'm pretty sure it's not towards the showmakers or the showrunners. That the death threats actually goes out to the actors that are playing the character.
Yeah. I imagine
Usually
it's
it's
more
not
to
their
the yeah. There's level of insane people on both sides of the spectrum. That it's inevitable. It's the nature of the internet.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. But like, there are these fringe minorities who are just like out there just because, you know, there are, you know, white supremacists. There are people who are out there who just don't like these kind of stuff, and it sucks. And it's like, for me, I'm a consumer, right? We are just consumers. We just want good, entertaining stuff, and you do not need to like you do not need to remove, like, sort of like you said, bastardize a character to prop up a new character that you like. And like, you know, they did it really well with, like, what's it called again, like Top Gun Maverick. You know, like, they didn't have to, like, when they introduce new characters, oh, we want to make sure that this character is propped up, so we're going to make sure this character is stupid. And that's what they did with She-Hulk, right? It's sort of like, make, you know, Hulk, you know, not Hulk anymore, and make She-Hulk because she's better. And for this show, I hope they don't do that. But they already sort of did it, is because, like, Galadriel clearly does not need anyone to help her to fight any of her battles, right? But, well, why? Okay, so Kat says why. So it's because it's sort of like, you can consider it like Game of Thrones, right? I think his name is Jack Gleason, the guy who the kid who played Joffrey. He played him so well that he got death threats. Right?
Yeah.
He played him so well. Like, people wanted to kill him because his character is such a bad character. But when it comes to stuff like this, though, it's more because, like, they want to channel their hate, and they don't know how to sort of get to the showrunners. But versus the actors, they're more up in front. They're up the front and center, and they have like if you think about it, like, majority of the actors, you know the actor's name more than you probably know the directors or the showrunners' names, unless you're like Steven Spielberg or something. So you would try to, like, oh, I know who John Boyega is, but did you know who, like, you know, like, majority of people would not know who directed something, unless they did something really, really bad, like Ryan Johnson or something like that. But oh man, to be honest, there are parts in this episode. I'm just sitting there like this. I'm just like, this episode, I would say it's more story building, character building, world building, and I found it to be not interesting.
Yeah.
I found it boring. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I kind of. Like, in me personally, I know the difference between House of the Dragon and Rings of Power, because in Rings of Power, like, I'm just watching it for the first time. I'm already taking down notes. In House of the Dragon, how I treat this is I watch it first without writing any sort of notes. And then later on in the week, before our podcast, I watch it again. Then I take notes. That's how you know that I'm more interested in that one compared to Rings of Power. Okay, open Notepad. I'll start typing already. I'll start typing what I see in the screen. Because I didn't want to watch it the second time anymore.
Yeah, like definitely like for me I should be taking notes. Like I'm not, but like I will probably be the same boat as you. Like I want to give my undivided attention to something that I know it's going to be like interesting for me, and now to segue onto House of the Dragon, that episode was about character building as well. Was about building character, expanding the universe of we finally actually met some Lannisters, and we actually met like new characters, and it's all like character talking, character building, conversations, relationships between one another. No action besides that one boar scene. And but near the tail end, of course, there was a big action scene. But to be honest, if you remove that action scene, I'm still more interested in House of the Dragon versus the Rings of Power.
Yeah, for sure. Me too, because the character build up was there. It's like the relationship building, it's not perfect, which we'll point out later on, but it's still far more interesting to see these characters build up their relationship, learning more about their motives, stuff like that. It's far more engaging compared to the one-dimensional character of Galadriel in Rings of Power. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of House of the Dragon episodes, okay, let's start with House of the Dragon. One first thing that I want to highlight is the crab feeder, because the episode starts with the crab feeder. I kind of wish that they actually expounded on him first before, because that's one of my main issues with House of the Dragon. It's like it's going a bit too fast, in my opinion. It's going given with the time skip, because in my opinion, time skips should be used very, very sparingly. Like, it's usually something like kind of like a season finale kind of thing that I'd rather see that in a season finale and the time skip in the next season. Something not on a per episode basis. But anyway, yeah. So it starts off with the crab feeder, and the guy who's tied up is like, curse you, you crab feeder. I hope you die. He mentions his actual name. I think its name is Prince Greyhar. And he slightly mentions his mom and his dad. I kind of wish that they expounded on that a lot more. Like, because we know what happens at the end of the episodes. Like, it's the end of the crab feeder. But I would have appreciated it, like, there's like kind of like a flashback story of the crab feeder on how he came to be. Because clearly the crab feeders, he's a prominent figure up until this point. Like, the crab feeders attacking our shipments, the crab feeders killing our people. My question is why? What led him to do that? If he used to be a prince, take note, a prince. Like, I would have wanted more to see that character development, how he came to be, from being a prince, from being some sort of a prominent bandit of sorts. Yeah, that's one thing. That's the first thing I wanted to. I wish they could have expounded more. Yeah, so that's the start of the episode. Then the next, right after the scene with Daemon starting to that was the first day of Daemon taking a stand against the crab feeder. Then it transitions to Aegon. So fast forward 3 years later, they did a time skip again. So it's Alicent has gave birth to Aegon, who's already 2 years old, and she's already there's another incoming child. Which so we were celebrating Aegon's birthday, and people expect him to be the next in line for the Iron Throne. Then Otto is now hand of the king, as mentioned also in that scene. Then so it's 2 years. So after that 3 years, Daemon is still fighting the crab feeder, which is, I don't know, I find it kind of strange too lore-wise, given how powerful dragons are supposed to be, that after 3 years, Daemon is still trying to get rid of the crab feeder.
Yeah, like I believe, like, you know, like to to the point of like the crap eater, like, like I'm just gonna hide in this cave, for 3 years. So,
Yeah, it's like
your fires can't get me.
yeah, it's like considering how powerful the dragons are supposed to be, like it
Yeah.
shouldn't even last for like in my opinion, it shouldn't even last for like a week. But anyway, yeah, that's another thing.
And the thing is that they as we know by the end of the episode, they had 2 dragons.
Yeah.
Right. What was it? The Valyrian boy? I forgot his name, but like he has his dragon, and I believe he's half Valyrian and half Targaryen. I believe, right? Since he's he's the other dude's son, and like you said, like no more than a week, right? Like you have 2 dragons that could just like fly down and just like blow fire into the damn caves and they're all dead, right? Unless this caves go like underground for millions of miles or something like that. But it's just sure, why not? Go ahead, go ahead with your crap fear 3-year battle and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like I think it would have benefited more if they didn't. But then again, they're trying to build Aegon. That's why they kind of fast forwarded a bit. But it 3 years seems a bit much, in my opinion. Maybe a year or 2. I mean, Aegon is like very young. I mean, it didn't have to be 2 years old or 3. Maybe 1 year old would have been fine, in my opinion. Okay, so then Rhaenyra and Alicent. Okay, so they're not on good terms anymore, given what happened. Given what's happened, then Alicent is now the queen, obviously. Then Viserys kind of implies in the carriage that she should have on their way to the hunt, the royal hunt.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, okay, you should give me grandchildren. Yeah, he's kind of like letting her on that she should get married, she should have children. Then when they arrive at the hunt, that's when we first meet Jason Lannister, who is actually trying to woo Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Then that's when Rhaenyra realized, oh crap, my dad set me up to
trying
all
to
these
fix me up, arranged marriage.
They actually had the heated argument in front of everyone. It's like, Otto's like, in an effort to break it off. Your Highness, we spotted a white hart, which is apparently a symbolism of his fit to rule. If he manages to find the white hart, which is okay, which is pretty fine, which is good for me. So I have no issues with that. Then I didn't really give it much. It didn't really strike me the scene where Rhaenyra was talking with all the other noble ladies about the war on the Stepstones. Like, it's like, oh, Rhaenyra, what do you think about the going on the war on the Stepstones? Like, Rhaenyra says, like, I have no idea. I have never been to the Stepstones. But they were like, but your uncle is there waging the war. Then Rhaenyra's like, yeah, I haven't talked to my uncle in years. Then it's like, I'm not sure what point they were trying to drive there, but then it's like the noble ladies were insistent about the issue. Then Rhaenyra just shuts them up. It's like, and here we are sipping wine and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's okay. I didn't see anything special about that scene. It's probably afterwards that when she storms off, after her argument with her dad, with Viserys, that she storms off, then Kristen Cole gives chase, follows her. Yeah, I think they're building them up to have a relationship of sorts. First, I didn't. Yeah, it's because in the previous episode, I was like, maybe not. Maybe it's not a romantic sort of way, but I'm starting to think it is, given what happened in this episode. Because when Kristen Cole catches up to Rhaenyra, it's like, what happened? Rhaenyra was like, yeah, this dad sold me off to Jason Lannister. Then the first reaction of Kristen was like, do you want me to kill him?
I love that. I love that.
I was honestly kind of what? That's it. I was like, I thought he would answer like, oh, your dad was trying to set you up for the good of the kingdom. But the first thing he says, do you want me to kill him? So it's like, okay, so yeah, I think they're building up to be the love interest of Rhaenyra. That's how I see it. Which is, yeah, I can see how given how the episode ended, I can see this happening, and it's gonna rattle the cages even more in the kingdom. So yeah, that's generally interesting. Then okay, afterwards, okay, then Jason approaches Viserys to hand him the spear to gift him a spear, because like then Jason tries to convince Viserys that I'm a good suitor for Rhaenyra. She's gonna have a good life. She's gonna live prestigiously in
it's like he already like assumed that he was going to be like what's it called, Rhaenyra's like husband. Like he already like, it's gonna be me, you know, like I'm giving you this big dig spear, you know, it's you know, it's made in freaking, you know, Casterly Rock and shit, and it's gonna be awesome. And you know, like I'm a Lannister and we're like super rich, so you know, hey, you know, we it's me or nobody. And he's like, what the fuck?
I think it's typical Lannister. Like you know, it's Lannister all the way. Which is it's just pretty good, pretty interesting. Then I like how Viserys like rebutted him. So do you have any dragons to offer? Because Jason said like it's like if you're offered a dragon, would you not take it? So it's like, oh, so you have dragons? Like, no, I don't.
No, we have you want another spear? I'll give you another spear. But I actually really actually, this is probably my favorite episode out of the three. I know, you know, there's not much so far, but like, of course, this is excluding the end of the, what's it called again, like the big battle. I love the exchange between what's it called again, Viserys. Like Viserys and anyone who he talks to, you could tell that he is a distraught king. Like he's like, damn it, I just want to do what's right. I just want to make everyone happy, and I'm fucking up right now. You know, like I'm letting down my daughter. You know, like I'm because he thinks with his heart and not with his brain, right? He's thinking like you know, in episode 2, oh, you have to remarry, and it was like, I know marrying this 12-year-old girl will benefit the kingdom the best. We will be strong. Valyria and you know, King's Landing, you know, two Targaryen houses, really really strong, right? But I'm gonna go with my heart because I don't know her and she's too young. So you know, that's already a bad step on his end, and he knew that he fucked up because he lost one of his like council dudes, right? The Valyrian council guy, and not stepping up, taking care of the crab feeder, and then having him turn to Daemon. And now you have this, like, you know, I'm happy now. I have a son, and then I have another kid that's on the way, and you know, everyone's happy around me. But I lost a couple people, and then now, you know, at the cost of my daughter. Me and my daughter are sort of estranged now, and seeing his emotional damage, right? And seeing him so like emotional, and like it's just so is the torment that he's going through, that you could feel that he thinks that he's doing what's right. And I'm sort of growing to like his character a lot. Like I'm like the first couple episodes I'm like, I don't really care. The second episode I'm like, sure, you know, but this episode in particular I'm like, I'm liking his character development a lot.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, like it's showing vulnerability makes the character more interesting, which is what they really showed it prominently here for Viserys. Like like you said, every person he talked to, it's like it shows a side of him. Like it shows so much of his lack of confidence in his decision making and his regrets, which I definitely I like too, for sure.
Yeah, like and then you have the scene where what's it called again? The two boar scenes, right? Not boar, the two hunt scenes. The first hunt was you have what's it called again? The king. I'm trying to hunt down the what's it called? The white stag, right? And that's supposed to symbolize that it's supposed to have like some kind of big symbolic gesture to it. And they ended up catching a regular stag, and they had to like tied like 4 people had to tie down or hold down the stag, and then you have the king, comes and like stabs what's it called again? Stabs the stag and like didn't one shot the stag, and you're like, and then imagine having like all your king's guard and all the people who sort of look up to you and part of your council and all the other houses look up to you like, we're holding this down for you. We're telling you where to hit, and you still didn't kill it the first shot. Like, in just of that, like, and you already see his like he already lost 2 of his fingers, and like you can tell he's a weak king, and I think everyone sees that, but they're just not saying it. And then you have the other scene with Rhaenyra with the boar coming and stuff like that. Like I don't know about you, but while we actually have an actual issue here, like in United States with feral hogs actually destroying shit, like killing people and stuff like that. And they're actually freaking wild. And they like their tusks are around 8 to 10 inches, and they will like gore you until you die. And they're crazy. And the fact that Rhaenyra was able to survive like a whole minute or something like that without dying, and it was crazy. But of course she got help from
Kristen,
what's it called again? Yeah, Kristen and stuff like, and then like her having her symbolically seeing the white stag. It's like that I like that a lot. But my favorite part of the entire episode wasn't at the end with the battle, was actually the exchange at in the throne room between Rhaenyra and Viserys.
Yes,
that's my favorite
the
scene.
same. Yes, me too. We're in the same boat as that.
Yeah, it's just like thinking about like a daughter who's like always been like, dad tells you what to do, don't do this, dad, your dad does everything for you, and then you never have a say in anything, and then like literally coming up to her and saying, you can choose whoever you want to marry. I'm not gonna tell you who. Like it's because like it sort of goes back to Daemon in the second episode. I'm just thinking about it now. Like he's like, I never got to pick who I wanted to marry. Right?
Yeah.
And then I think that sort of stuck with Rhaenyra this past 3 years.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't want you to pick out my husband. I want to pick it out. I want to pick out who I want to marry. And then the fact that Viserys like, you can do that. Like for me, I thought that was a very big, like sort of like a big moment, a big character moment between both of these characters.
Yes.
And they're like, they finally like, maybe their relationship isn't going to be as estranged as we thought it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I thought the scene was great. Like just between those two.
Yeah. My only gripe with that scene. Yeah, I really love the scene too. Don't get me wrong. It's like Rhaenyra saying, "I don't want to marry." Then at first, Viserys like, "No, you have to marry." That's why I'm referring to all these suitors to you. But then after that dialogue, it's like, if you'd married out of political power, Viserys should have married the 12-year-old kid. Right? Not Alicent. So it's like, yeah, that was like, yeah, I fucked up that one, I admit. So I kind of married who I wanted. So that's when he had the realization. Yeah, okay, you must marry, but it is of your own choosing. Solidify your claim, which is for me, you should have had this conversation. The thing is, you should have had this conversation 3 years ago. You didn't have to wait for 3 years to have this awkward relationship. I think that was the criticism with this 3-year jump. Apart from it being kind of unreal in terms of Daemon fighting the crab feeder, I think that's too long too. It's also like it didn't have to wait 3 years. It's like the writers forget that 3 years has passed. It didn't have to be 3 years for Rhaenyra and Viserys to be in that awkward relationship. I mean, they could have talked about it like almost right away. Like the moment that at least after the shock that Viserys said that he was gonna marry Alicent, like not long after, they could have had this conversation already. Because if you were Rhaenyra, of course you're gonna think, "Oh no, I'm losing my stake to the Iron Throne." Of course she's gonna think naturally. She's gonna think that. But then Viserys for some reason did not give that assurance until that scene.
Yeah,
that's my only gripe. Apart from that, the scene is well done. It's like, okay, they've come to terms with each other. They know now what to do. They made compromises with each other, which is very great. Like it's, as you said, it's not as, the relationship is not as distant as the first 2 episodes initially imply.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite scene too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think the only thing that my I was when I was watching with my wife, like she was like, oh, hug her, hug each other, right? It's like
Yeah.
of course that would be like a very, but that would sort of make it like very like, I don't know, Disney. It's like, oh, they hug each other, and then like, you know, emotional music starts playing or something like that. But
yeah.
but all right, now let's go talk about the last scene of the what's it called again, of the episode, which in my opinion, I think a lot of people's favorite was the scene
for sure.
And so it's been 3 years, and they have not sort of like gained any traction by like complete like removing the crab feeder. I think according to one of the Valyrian people, they're like, Daemon's actually making everything worse, right? And then you have what's it called again? There's a scene between I forgot who it was. It was Viserys and someone else, and they're like, the crab feeders, you know, they're going crazy, and they and your brother actually needs help. And he's like, I will send help, but he would rather die than actually ask for help, right? So he sends help anyways. So we know the help is coming. And then and then what's it called again? Seeing that like he receives the note from from the king, and he opens it, and he just completely beats the shit out of that guy. He's like,
Yeah.
literally like,
no,
fuck the messenger.
yeah. At first, I didn't get what was happening until the show revealed what the contents of the message was. Like, that's why. Because the moment that Viserys sends reinforcements, he loses the credit. Daemon loses the credit of defeating the crab eaters. That's why.
Yeah, it's and the thing is that as Daemon is a very strong character, and I feel that he's such a Matt Smith does an amazing job like acting this kind of character who's in like distraught and like just like really like there's like this, you could tell something's mentally like fucking with him. And I really like the scene where like there was no dialogue. He doesn't say a word, right? And it's like in this the latter of the episode, like he doesn't say anything, and it just is really cool. I thought it was a fantastic scene, and you can tell like he's like, I don't want help. It's because if I receive help from him, like all my work here will be for nothing. Like he said, like all the credit will go towards the king, and all my work here would have been for naught. And you know, like if I'm trying to show that I have the rightful claim of the throne, I need to be able to show my strength. I cannot show any weakness. And I think that like the whole like fake out with the crab feeders was a very good sort of identifying like trait that he had that shows that he's capable of doing. Like he's very cunning as well. He's very like he can play like the trickster, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, the fact that he walks out and he brings out the white flag and he's like, you know, I put my sword up, you know, hit my Valyrian sword, and then, you know, go ahead, you know, I surrender. And then he sort of does like a fake out. The only thing that I have a problem with, but at the end of this at the end of this episode, was the fact that like it took him that long to get shot.
Yeah.
He was
a lot of plot armor.
arrows.
A lot of plot armor for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a question in chat. Do you guys think Viserys is a good king? I think, in my opinion, yes and no. I think he's a good king in terms of like trying to make everyone happy. Yeah. But at the same time, he's also selfish because he wants to make everyone happy, and including himself, and not thinking about the betterment of the kingdom. I think that that will ultimately lead to his downfall. In my opinion, that is.
Yeah, for sure. Same with me. The biggest character in Game of Thrones here reminds me of is Robb Stark.
Yes.
Because Robb Stark, at first when he was fighting the Lannisters, he was winning. He was making all the right choices. But then him at his youth, being I think he was still a teenager actually during that time. He started making teenage choices like killing his allies for murdering peasants, also marrying the person based on what he wants, not based on what's good for his kingdom or what will get him ahead.
Yeah.
Then he paid the ultimate price, which is at the Red Wedding. So I imagine it's gonna be the same with Viserys. Like he had good intentions, but there's a good chance his selfishness will get the best out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he does more of those choices later on in the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's same opinion. He's good in terms of trying to achieve the best outcome, but he's making pretty selfish decisions for sure.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you brought up like Robb Stark, like that definitely like is a very, very good comparison. It's just like, yeah, he basically is sort of doing what Viserys is doing right now. Like he wants everyone to have a good outcome, right? He wants everyone to have to have the best ending, but then he started thinking selfishly, and then he's not thinking about like, oh, I should have probably, like, at the twins, I should probably marry one of his daughters, and then like it's just he like you said, like it was the ultimate ending, right? So like he got what he deserved. It sucked, but the fact that like you promised, and like I'm not sure he made an oath or something like that.
He did.
Yeah, I made an oath to marry one of your daughters, and then I'm like, nope, I'm gonna fucking go into the forest and marry this other girl, and then like the fact that was it his uncle. Like his uncle, like he goes to his uncle's wedding, right? And then he sees like, oh, he actually has attractive daughters. Like, oh well, too bad, now you're dead. Like it doesn't matter now, Mr. Hindsight, right? So, but yeah, but man, what were your thoughts on this last scene, this last battle on the beach scene?
Yeah, production value wise, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, setting aside plot armors, like. Yeah, he's so not gonna die in the scene for sure. Even though it looks like it's gonna be, it's not. It's like, especially when he got shot. Everyone already knows he's gonna live one way or another. Like this is the like after transitioning the scenes to the crab feeder, like looking okay, he knows he's fucked. The crab feeder knows he's about to lose.
Yeah.
Then so it shows Daemon's courage, I suppose. It symbolizes courage, like going out there, all those archers on his own. It demonstrates courage and doing what it takes to win, like doing whatever it takes to win.
Yeah,
pretty good. The only thing is, it's towards the end of that scene. My issue is towards the end, where the crab feeder like just walks away. He just walks away into his hideout. Then you see the scene where Daemon follows him. Then the next scene after a few more fight scenes, is you see Daemon carrying the half body of the crab feeder. Again, I think the crab feeder was done dirty here. It's like I would have wanted to see at least a conversation between the two and the actual fight, rather than the crab feeder already dead by the in the final scene. It's like the crab feeder had, because this episode implied that the crab feeder had so much more. Like I mentioned earlier, the very beginning, like. The hostage or the person tied up, like, curse you, Prince Drehar. So he has a backstory. We know that he has a backstory, but it wasn't fleshed out, unfortunately. Maybe because they were trying to rush it out. Like, there are far bigger plots to talk about than the crab feeder. I'm assuming that's the case, but in my opinion, what's the rush? Like, isn't it you're trying to make the Game of Thrones world universe bigger? So why not flesh out his story? Like, I mean, I wouldn't have mind having a few episodes with the crab feeder, like learning his backstory, how he ended up being the crab feeder, stuff like that. I wouldn't have mind, honestly. I think that would have enriched the Game of Thrones universe. But I probably priorities for the showrunners. Like, we need to focus more on the Targaryen plot and their downfall. So that's my only issue with the final scene and the first scene of this episode.
Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like you hit the you hit the nail on the head, like saying that like even though like for one would definitely want to know a little bit more what happened, like if there was a conversation that took place, or he just went inside and fought him and like killed him really quick or something like that. Like, at least I want to see some kind of closure on that. Like, but I understand why they decided not to like, yeah, like we have more other like important stuff, and we don't need to like make this a lot longer than it already is. So they're like, oh, let's just cut our losses and just move forward. But what's it called again? It's cool to see that we have another dragon rider that's not full Targaryen. Like I wanted to know more. And plus, speaking of which, I forgot his name, but I remember there was one of the person that was talking to Viserys was like, hey, I think you should marry your daughter should marry this person. And then it happens to be him, right? It has to be the young dragon rider. But I'm not sure where that's gonna land. I heard some spoilers here and there, but I'm not sure they're actually. I probably won't say the spoiler because I believe it's in the book canonically, like
Oh, okay.
his background. So I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. But knowing that, I think that's pretty cool. But according to what I heard, I think we're only gonna have a couple more episodes with young Alicent and young Rhaenyra. So
Yeah.
so there's going to be another time jump. But is it going to be like 10 years? Like, and I'm echoing your sentiment. Like I'm not a big fan of big time jumps, and especially like 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 it happens in a movie. It's like a movie is like like 3 years later, 6 months later, sure. But like this one is like first episode to second episode, 6 months later. Second episode to third episode, 3 years later. And then what's the next one? 10 years later? It's like you gotta. I know you're trying to rush a lot of things, but like what are we rushing to? What are we rushing?
Yes.
Are we rushing towards
Precisely.
like the the fight for the throne between Daemon and I'm assuming they better not fucking kill off like Viserys off screen. It's like 10 years later, Viserys dies, and now like the fight for the throne begins. I'm like, you better show me what happens, right? At least with what's it called again? With Robert Baratheon, like we know he dies from getting gored by a boar and stuff like that. Like we see his death. You better not like, oh, he actually, how did Viserys die? Oh, he infection. Yeah, he died from he needed a tetanus shot and he got lead poisoning and he died. And I'm just like, no, we better not, we better actually see a lot of shit happens, or maybe like someone like leaves the kingdom. I don't know, Rhaenyra leaves the kingdom and then she goes off on herself, and then like next episode 10 years later, I'm like, wait, there's a lot of shit to happen. Are we going to discuss about that? Like you said, like you only need to use these crazy time jumps for extreme circumstances, and you already did it you already did it twice, right? So like 6 months to 3 years, and we know you're gonna do it again. So I'm not a big fan of that. So but overall, I thought this episode was probably the best episode so far. I like the fighting was great at the end. The character building between personalities and the king, and the struggles between what's it called again, Alicent and Rhaenyra, and between Rhaenyra and Viserys. I think that's great. I think but knowing Game of Thrones fashion, this is me big brain theorizing. I think that Kristen Cole and Rhaenyra is probably gonna get together somehow, but I feel that he's gonna die. Like, I feel like he's gonna die. Like I have a feeling, like it's sort of like what's it called again? George R.R. Martin with the whole Game of Thrones thing. It's just like, oh, you really like this character, huh? And then like I'm gonna write him off, right? It's like we know what you're trying to do, and we all know that like Viserys most likely is gonna go, but we better fucking see it. Like I don't want him fucking dying off screen. I'm okay with the crab feeder thing. That's fine. I of course, if I had it my way, I would definitely like to know more, like according to what you said.
Yeah, I think overall, I have nothing else bad to say apart from those like more fleshed out characters and time jump. It's do less of it. Let this part of the less is more in this situation. But yeah, overall, it's very good. I'm very entertained. I like the character developments of most of everyone. We didn't tackle I just wanted to mention it. Otto being Littlefinger again. Like
Yeah.
he's telling it's like telling Viserys to marry Rhaenyra with Aegon, which is
It's like, dude, he's 2. He's 2 years old, dude. God damn, dude.
What is this? An incest competition?
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's literally like, it's because if that happens, for sure, Aegon will be king, like without a doubt, like, and I like the fact that he's like, no, he's like fucking 2, dude. It's like, my son is 2. The fuck is wrong with you, man? Get the fuck out of here. It's like, stupid.
Like holy cow! I didn't think Otto would go that far. Like there was the scene like he was talking to Alicent, like, yes, we should make Aegon the king, even though Alicent herself doesn't even want that. For now, Alicent wants Rhaenyra to continue the claim. But anyway, well, there's probably going to be more of that. But yeah, overall, very good episode. I liked it too. It's probably the same boat as you. It's probably the best one so far of the 3.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like the next episode. I want to see more character development. I want to see it's what's it called again? I want to see like what happens next with Daemon. I'm more interested in seeing his growth. And then followed by like what happens with like between like Viserys and like Alicent with Otto and Rhaenyra. I think like this show it's so good, but the thing is we all know where it leads to season 8 of Game of Thrones. So we know this all leads to failure. But yeah, man, it's good. It's good. So let's go ahead and segue to a different topic, and I want to talk a little bit about the stuff that we've probably been seeing. What's it called again? I guess like a lot of people were really like upset that that the whole She-Hulk twerking thing, like we saw the twerking thing, and then we saw the whole Homelander stuff like that, and then like I go on Twitter and I'm on Facebook and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, like why is there a problem? Why are people so upset? Like this is a post credit scene, you know, like Megan Thee Stallion twerking with She-Hulk and stuff like that. Why is this such a big issue? And like and it's like people are just having fun, right? Were you upset when what's called Baron Zemo was like clubbing, like dancing at the club? Were you upset when emo Tobey Maguire was dancing, you know, in the Spider-Man 3? Like were you upset about that? I'm like, no, like we were not upset about any of those. Is because those characters didn't say something earlier that counteracts what they are saying, what your actions are doing now, right? In the first episode, we have Jen, right? Who is She-Hulk when in her human form, and she's like, Hulk was like talking to her, is like, oh, you got to control your anger, and she's like, I control my anger very well, better than you. You know, when I get catcalled, or you know, when a male trying to explains my field of expertise to me, and when I could possibly even die, and then she turns into the Hulk, right? But I'm trying to sort of understand where she's coming from. Okay, cool. So you're saying that you control your anger all the time when you're trying to learn, make sure that you don't get catcalled, is because being catcalled can potentially lead to death. Okay, let's see if you are correct. So question for you: Do you know who started the trend of twerking?
Not really. No.
So I believe this happened in I think like maybe 2014, 2013. I forgot. So Robin Thicke came out with a song as "Blurred Lines." I know you want it, right? So there's that song, and then he performed it at the VMA or like a music award, and what's it called again? Miley Cyrus like was one of the dancers, and there was a pole, like a strip pole, and she was basically twerking on his groin. And
okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So that's when twerking happened. So this was like in maybe like 2014, 2013.
Yeah, I know it got popular during that time.
so she popularized twerking, and everyone started doing it, right? Like even like your cousin's mother or something like that will be doing it. It's all over the internet, and then it sort of got even more popular when like Megan Thee Stallion, what's it called again, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, like these like promiscuous rapper, like female rappers who does this. And twerking in terms of a dance is overtly sexual, right? Extremely sexual, right? Because you're dancing with your ass. So the fact that she says that being catcalled could potentially lead me to being killed, and then at the end of your episode, for episode 3, you are twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, who is not, I consider, is not kid friendly, right?
Okay.
Like it's not like, it's not like she, like, of course she came out with the song with WAP, right? Wet ass pussy and stuff like that. So you have a person like that you're saying that being catcalled is very, very bad. I can die from that. And then you are twerking. That it completely negates your message, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why people are sort of like saying, like that's how I feel, at least. I'm like, okay, I have no issues with you twerking. If you just did it just to do it, and you didn't have your, I control my anger very well, Bruce. I'm I like when people I get catcalled on the street. I'm like, if you did not say that and you did twerking, no one would have said anything. But the fact that you said that, and then in episode 3 you twerk, that's when people were saying all these crazy things. And then you have episode 4, right? Episode 4 is the what's it called? I'm not sure if you've seen the trailer for She-Hulk where she's on Tinder, right? She's like, okay. Oh my god, like swipe left and stuff like that, right? So I guess there was 2 scenes where she was in her human form, and she was using Tinder, and she wasn't getting any clicks. But when she was She-Hulk, she was getting a lot of clicks. She was everyone swiping right for her, right, or swiping left or whatever. And at the end of the episode, She-Hulk smashed, right? So it's just like you're having this episode about what's it called again, like women empowerment, and how you shouldn't like sexualize, objectify women and stuff like that, saying that females are strong and stuff like that. And then you have episode 4 that completely says that where this is all about hookup culture, we're just having sex and stuff like that. Like how, and if She-Hulk is a character that people are supposed to idolize, like whether or not it's maybe she was promiscuous like that in comics, you don't have to make her like that if you're trying to have people to look up to her. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like sort of like the sort of like the people who are saying one thing and doing something
doing
else.
The other. That's the thing. It, as you said, it kind of dilutes your message, so it comes off as being disingenuous, fake virtue signaling, kind of like it's also similar to what we tackled earlier on Disney with regards to Black Panther being the posters in China, and it's also the same thing with Star Wars. Like they shrink down Finn in the China poster because so it's if you're gonna stick to a messaging, just be sure to be consistent about it. That's how I see it. It's like if you're saying don't do this, but immediately you're doing the exact opposite of the other. It's definitely gonna upset people. For sure it's gonna upset. It's like, you're a hypocrite. You're not credible. You're gonna lose that good branding and good. You're gonna lose that goodwill because you don't actually mean what you say. That's what you're. That's what your the implication of that is. You're not being sincere. You're just trying to generate a fan base, I suppose, a fan base who don't because people are not stupid. People can see everything with how you act, what you say. So at the end of the day, just be truthful, I suppose. Be truthful. Mean what you say. In other words, just mean what you say, because otherwise nobody's gonna listen to you. Nobody's gonna believe in you.
It's sort of like I'm not sure if you know about the whole like Uyghur Muslim thing that's happening in China, right? Like they have like a concentration camp for them.
Oh yeah, I don't know in depth, but I have an idea.
And it's crazy how like they're like they're talking about like free Hong Kong, like in 2020, right? Like free Hong Kong, and and Disney's a company that like it's against all of that, and then at the same time they film Mulan, the live action Mulan, next literally like a mile away from the concentration camp, and then they thanked them for it, and it's just like, yeah, like mean what you say, right? Be consistent with your message, like don't do something and completely do something else. Like it's a disingenuous what's it called, virtue signaling for clout and for brownie points, and to get people to like your stuff, like hey, please like our stuff and stuff like that. But let's do one more segue. So one more segue.
Sure.
And speaking of Disney, have you watched the Little Mermaid official teaser trailer that dropped?
I have seen it on Twitter, but I didn't watch it. But I kind of, the reaction, I wasn't surprised anymore. It's like,
okay,
yeah,
so,
Disney doing their thing again as usual.
So I have not seen it yet, and I have some choice words. I did see some screenshots, of course, and because it's all over internet, because the D23 is, I believe, is ending tomorrow. There's a bunch of Marvel stuff that was kind of announced, like Secret Wars, Armor Wars, for Fantastic Four and stuff like that, and a couple of video games. But they also announced some, like a bunch of movies that are coming out. Like I think they're doing a prequel to Mufasa, prequel to Lion King. So like it's going to be based off of Mufasa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Did you watch the Lion King, the live action one?
No, just the original one. I didn't watch the live action.
The live action one was pretty 1-to-1 in terms of sort of like story beats and stuff like that. There's the music and stuff like that, and all the characters. But the one thing is that they made the animals too realistic in terms of like emotions. Like sort of like when Mufasa
actual lions.
They actually look like actual lions, right? So when Mufasa dies, like Simba's face is just like the same how he looks like, right? And it's sort of like that sort of like gives that sort of like disconnect is because the reason why Disney and like a lot of these animation studios make the cartoon characters have more emotion is so we can connect to them, right? But when you have something like this that we can't connect to, it's going to be extremely difficult. And I have a feeling a lot of people are like, please have this be 2D, don't make it 3D, because if it's like 3D, like sort of how the Lion King movie was that came out a couple years ago, a lot of people is going to hate it. But yeah. I'm not a big fan of all of these, especially the most recent ones. Like ever since starting from Jungle Book. I think Jungle Book was okay, right? It's not bad, it's not great, it's different from the cartoon, but a lot of these live action remake / adaptations that Disney is doing is completely just not good. I watched almost all of them. Right, I watched Jungle Book, I watched Beauty and the Beast, I watched Aladdin, watched Lion King, and what's it called again? I didn't watch. I think there's a Cinderella one. I think the Snow White one that's coming up, and I did not like Maleficent because they completely changed up the story of Sleeping Beauty, and now we have this, the Little Mermaid official teaser trailer, and I have not seen it, and I sort of want to watch it with you. So let's go ahead. Is that cool with you?
All right. Could send me the link so that I can see it clearly. But I'll so that I can watch it because it's kind of slow if I'm watching it through StreamYard.
Okay.
I'll watch it along with you.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and send this to you. But before we actually watch this though, I'm gonna show on the chat right now how many dislike to like ratios.
Oh, okay. I have that extension too. I want to see.
Okay, so we go right now. You go right.
Yeah.
So this thing came out yesterday, and it's trending number 3, and it's 192,000 likes to 786,000 dislikes. Okay.
For me, it's 200K to 820K.
Okay, so it might have updated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna refresh. Oh my god. Oh my god. This thing is pretty bad. So before we watch it, I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the comments. Okay. So the part where Sebastian says she's starting to believe, and Ariel stops all the bullets with her mind and sends chills down my spine. Just stunning. when Ariel turned into a to a boy who lived, you're a mermaid, Harry. Absolute chills, 10 out of 10. I love the part where Ursula was like, I am inevitable. And then Ariel was like, it's mermaid time. Oh my god, these are so good. These are so good. I got epic chills when it turned out that Ariel was the chosen one and said to infinity and beyond and flew into outer space. Oh man. Clearly, this is not doing well, and these comments are amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then okay, let me read one more. When Ariel said, "It's over, Ursula," I have the high
The high
It
ground.
made me cry a single tear. Phenomenal writing. Oh my god. All right. Oh my god. These comments are so good. These comments. Okay, let's go actually watch
Yeah.
this right now.
I'll go. I'll watch this along with you.
All right. Okay, here we go. Sorry. That's Flounder.
Out of the sea, wish I could be part of that world.
Okay. Okay. I have a couple of things to say. But what are your thoughts on that?
Oops. Wait, I'm not sure if you could hear that. It's not well visually. The graphics are it's usual pretty good, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say if Hail Berry is actually a great cast as Ariel.
Mhm.
Because it might come off as like me being no, Ariel should be white. I don't want to come across as that, but
Mhm.
at the same time, it kind of alienates people from the original source material. So,
Mm.
admittedly, I'm kind of in between with regards to that. Well, obviously, but I already knew like this is gonna get a huge backlash, which I was right. So, I don't know. The trailer doesn't say much. Like it's just saying we have a live action Little Mermaid coming.
Mhm.
Apart from change race swapping Ariel. Admittedly, I'm a bit indifferent for now. Maybe if I see more trailers, it's. I'm not a fan though of the Pinocchio one, what they did with the fairy.
Mhm.
If you've seen the Pinocchio one, yeah, that was
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a that was a bit of a stretch,
Mhm.
like compared to this one. This one, I'm in between. I
Mhm.
don't really have if which side I'm in. It's like maybe it's worth giving a chance. Maybe it'll turn out to be good, depending on the writing, depending on the trailer doesn't say much apart from the race swap of Ariel. So I'll see how it goes for now.
Yeah. So so according to what I heard, what's it called again? Pinocchio's is just really bad. Like I believe what's it called again? Pinocchio. Let's actually go check Rotten Tomatoes of all things, right? Pinocchio. Oh, nope, that's not it. Let's actually look at it. Oh, okay. Pinocchio. Hold on. Let me actually. Can I spell it right? There it is. Is it 20? Pinocchio, right? Why? Where is it? Okay, there it is. 2022. Okay, so last time I saw, I believe the Pinocchio, what's it called? A Tom Hanks one right here. It's not doing well, and it is definitely absolutely is not doing. It's getting destroyed right now. So let me even the critics are not a big fan of it. So let's actually bring this up. Wolf, look at this: 29% to critic review versus 39%
wow.
audience score.
The critic is even lower. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how 1-to-1 this is. I have not seen the original Pinocchio in such a long time. I've probably seen it once.
Me too.
And I have not seen this one, but according to my friend who's a big Disney fan on Facebook, he was like, I'm not a big fan of what they did with Pinocchio. It's different. I'm not liking it so far. And the thing is that he's a big Pinocchio fan. And the thing is, I'm not sure. Like, I think having Pinocchio look like Pinocchio from the cartoon, I think it's fine. I guess I'm not sure. Maybe it looks too cartoony, because right here the eyes looks pretty bad. It looks like it's just drawn in. I'm not sure if it's actually like a ventriloquist dummy looks like the eyes actually moves, but this is getting really, really bad reviews. And from what I know from Ariel, like I know that the Little Mermaid that we watched growing up, which was what that movie came out in like 89 or something, and it's a Dutch background, right? So it has with Prince Eric, and he's Dutch, and what's called Little Mermaid. That's the reason why they're white. And I'm not sure this one if they're gonna make it around the Caribbean. Is because
we don't know.
Like, go ahead, like, and do that. Like, I'm okay with if you are don't gender swap one character. You got to gender swap everyone. Like Ariel's mom needs to be black. Ariel's dad needs to be black. Almost everyone she lives with needs to be black, right? If that's the case, or there could be some whites, there could be some blacks, but at least her main, like King Trident, needs to be black. Her sisters, all of them need to be black, right? If that's it, make it consistent. But if they don't and they just gender swap her, then it's gonna be a pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
So Kat says, agreeing with Grae Blade, looks pretty. I'm going to keep an open mind. What's the backlash about? So yeah, so the backlash is two things. Other than the fact that if it's going to be in Dutch, like a Dutch background, like then this is wrong. Like in terms of geographically, this is considered wrong. It's because like she's supposed to be white. Big backlash from what I heard was her hair is not red. Like that's one of the big ones. It's because her hair.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, being underwater, I know that your hair is definitely muted in color, but the thing is that if you look at what's it called again? If you look at Amber Heard's character, what's her name?
Mira.
Yeah. Mira's hair is super red, like lusciously bright, right? And I think that's what they should do. I think her, they gave her dreadlocks and stuff like that. Just she's black and stuff like that. Like sure, whatever. Like it's I don't care. If it's good, then it's good. I think having her hair super red would probably be a little bit better, because she's known to be a redhead, right? But I do know that it does look pretty, right? I think Halle Bailey. I was about to say Halle Berry. Halle Bailey can sing. I'm not a big fan of the "Wish I Could Be Here." Like I'm not a big fan of that extra twang at the end. But I think it's fine. Like, but this thing has a good amount of downvotes, which I think it's just So there's another thing that I do want to show right over here. Let me actually show. Here it is. The crazy thing is this one right here. The crazy one is this one right here. So this is from Discussing Films. I think this is from the Quartering. I think the Quartering retweeted this, and Halle Bailey looks exactly like Ariel, the complete with the full red locks in The Little Mermaid. Incredible singing, and film already seems very close to the animated version. I'm not sure if this is a troll, but
yeah, me too.
Like, no, right? If you're saying that this is extremely accurate, this looks exactly like the cartoon, right? Well, first of all, she's not white, and second of all, her hair is not red. But the thing is that like Cliff Duncan right over here is like, ironically, the irony that this is actually a racist tweet, dismissing Miss Bailey's appearance and gaslighting readers to believe that she looks pretty like a pretty white girl. that's wolf. But yeah, it's like for me, you just make it consistent, right? Flounder, if that fish that's following her was flounder, that does not look like flounder unless if the fish that you're using is a legit flounder fish, right? If you're using like an actual flounder fish, like that thing looks ugly. If this is the thing that's gonna be following Ariel around, this is really bad. And of course, if they're gonna make this Caribbean, it's because what's it called again? Sebastian has a Jamaican accent, right? And so having it based off in like the Caribbean islands next to Jamaica and stuff like that, that would make total sense. But if they happens, this is Prince Eric is white and in Dutch and stuff like that, and then people will be even more upset. And that's the reason why, like, I think ever since what's it called again? Lion King, I've completely lost faith in any live action adaptation from Disney. Like, it's like, to be honest though, what they could have done with Haley Bailey, in my opinion, I think she would have been a lot better cast as Tatiana from I think that's her name, from what's it called again? Princess and the Frog.
Oh, I don't think I watched that one.
Princess and the Frog is a set in the bayou of New Orleans, right? So it's like there's a lot of like soul and Creole and stuff like that. Like, I think she might have been better for that for that. Like, if you want something like that, I'm pretty sure that's probably like the next thing they're gonna do. But the next thing they're gonna do is Snow White, and Snow White for some reason is like Hispanic or black or something like that. Like, sure, whatever. I don't care anymore. Like, this is not for me. Like, obviously this is not for me. Are my kids going to be watching, the live action one or the animated one? Of course, they're going to be watching the animated one, because the animated one is just so much better.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm just looking at her hair here. Her hair is not red at all. It's like an orange, like a dark orange. Maybe when she's out of the water, her hair is like super bright red or something. But it's It's not. I think that's one of the things a lot of people are just like upset at. But I think it is what it is. Like, I probably will not ever watch any of the like the live action stuff anymore. But yeah, dude, it's have you watched any of the live action Disney stuff?
Recently, to be truth, I can't even recall. So that actually says that says something about it. So yeah, I can't even recall the last one that I watched anymore. It's been that long.
Yeah. But man, do you know what show that I just started watching since the most recent season just came out? That's still really good. Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah. I know that's been very, very well received. Maybe I should start watching that too.
Yeah, it's all on Netflix. Season 5 just came out, and the great thing about that show, it caters to everyone, right? It caters to fans of the old. If you're new, it introduces all new characters. It actually has a lot of people of color in it. Like, you have one of Johnny Lawrence's main like disciples or pupils is a Hispanic person, and then you have blacks, Asians, and it's like all of them. They bring back a bunch of older characters. If you ever watched any of the OG like Karate Kid movies and stuff like that, so it brings in like lesbian, gay, like it caters to LGBTQ, like all of that. Like, that's what Disney should have done, right? For if you're gonna make a movie, like, cater to everyone. Do not isolate a big section of your fan, right? It's because if ultimately money talks, if you look
you still gotta make it entertaining. You still gotta make it entertaining.
So if you look at Thor: Love and Thunder, like I believe it did. I'm not sure if it even broke even in the box office.
Yeah, I know it didn't do well.
And with that, like, you already have like Taika Waititi already is coming back. It's like, I'm not making another Thor. Like, he already said, it's like, I'm not making Thor 5. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that anymore. And I think it's because you purposely made this movie to like cater to a group of fans and not your other fans. And
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's just make something that does well for everything. Like if you want to send a message, do it for everyone, right? Or if you're doing an episodic, make sure that like each episode is catered to something. What's the message for this one, right? What's the message for this movie and stuff like that? What do you want to put in this movie? That's why Top Gun Maverick did so well, is because it didn't add anything new, but it just took what already exists and made it better, right? And brought in new characters, and there are people of color and stuff like that, but they didn't try to like shove stuff down your throat. They didn't try to
Yes.
you any identity politics or like intersectionality or it wasn't virtue signaling at all. It was just a very good entertaining movie. And that's the reason why
that integrate and write these characters well. That's all you need to do. You don't need to blatantly virtue signal in for your audience.
And that's the reason why that movie has surpassed Black Panther domestically here in the US, like over $700 million, which is crazy. It beat Infinity War and Black Panther, which is nuts. But yeah, man. What's it called again? We are about that time here, man. We can go on for a couple more, but I'm definitely looking forward to watching House of the Dragon on Sunday. I hope I'm always happy when I am proven wrong about something, right? Especially when I have like a preconceived notion about something that, like, oh, I'm gonna hate this movie, I'm gonna hate this character and stuff like that. And I'm always happy to be proven wrong, and that's why. And I will definitely own up to the fact that I originally walked in, did not like Disa. Disa was actually one of the better characters, so. Please prove me wrong. Amazon and what's it called again? The Rings of Power. Please prove me wrong and make Galadriel a likable character. Like that would be great. Like if the first 3 episodes was supposed to be a build up, and the last 5 episodes is supposed to be like really really good, then like please do so. I'm still
by all means, yes.
But yeah, man. Do you have anything to shout out or anything like that? Before we call it.
Nothing else for me, but if you wanna follow me on Twitch, you can search Greyblade on Twitch. I stream mostly JRPGs. And YouTube, I'm in the process of starting a YouTube video quite soon, by the end of the month. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
All right, and you can always follow me at Twitch /Mr. Phillip Chan. That's MrPhillip. I go live usually Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Not so much recently because of some personal issues, but you can also follow me at Twitter at Philly Chan. That's PhillieChan, and I usually post random memes and stuff like that, retweets and whatnot. I don't usually post too much, but yeah. But before we leave, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe, hit the notification, and when we go live. Next time we're going to be going live is next Saturday at 9 Pacific Standard, 9 p.m. that is. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope everyone here take care of yourself, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.